joining the Untold Story with Scott Knuckles. We hope this message will drive you to greater faith, a more lasting hope, and a deeper love for others and yourself. Thomas Edison said, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." Let's get started with today's podcast.
Carpe Diem, seize the day. It's more than a phrase. It's a battle cry that's echoed through classrooms, palaces, and war-torn streets. Today, we're diving into what it means to truly live it. From a teacher's bold words, to a queen's courageous stand, to a leader's defiance in the face of despair. So, what does Carpe Diem mean for you? Let's find out. Our journey begins in a dimly lit classroom. John Keating, brought to life by Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society, stands before his students, pointing to a case of faded photographs, faces of boys long gone. With passion in his voice, he asked, "Gather ye rosebuds while ye may." The Latin term for that sentiment is Carpe Diem. Anyone know what that means? A student pipes up, "Seize the day." Keating nods, his eyes blazing. Seize the day, because believe it or not, each and every one of us in this room is one day going to stop breathing, turn cold, and die. The room falls silent, his words sinking in. He gestures to the photos, a quiet reminder of lives that once burned bright. "Step forward," he says. "Close your eyes if you must and listen. Do you hear it? Those whispers are the voices of boys like you, full of hope, full of dreams. But now they're gone. Did they wait for life to happen, or did they seize it?" He leans in, his voice dropping to a dramatic whisper. "Carpe diem. Seize the day, boys. Make your lives extraordinary." This moment changes everything for these students, pushing them to break free and chase their potential. Keating's words show us how the right challenge at the right time can spark a fire. And here's one for you. What's a dream you've been waiting to chase? Hold that thought. We'll come back to it. Now let's step into a palace where a young Jewish orphan named Esther finds herself crowned queen. The story of Esther found in the Old Testament begins with the fall of Queen Vashti. King Xerxes throws a grand banquet, displaying his wealth and power. But when he summons the queen to parade before his guest, she refuses, and in an instant she loses her position. At first glance, Vashti's downfall seems like a random event, but in reality, it sets the stage for God's providence. Esther, an unknown Jewish orphan raised by her cousin Mordecai, would soon be placed in a position of immense influence, one she never sought, but would need to fully embrace. When the king searches for a new queen, Esther is taken into the palace. Though she is beautiful, it's not her beauty alone that positions her. It's God's favor and her willingness to step into the unknown. Esther 2:17 says, "And the king loved Esther more than all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti." Yet Esther does something interesting. She conceals her Jewish identity, as advised by Mordecai. She is patient and strategic, waiting for the right moment to reveal the truth. Enter Haman, the villain in this true story. As a high-ranking official, Haman grows furious when Mordecai refuses to bow before him. In his arrogance, Haman doesn't just seek revenge against Mordecai. He plots the destruction of all Jews. Haman convinces the king to sign a decree allowing for the annihilation of the Jewish people. The fate of Esther's people seems sealed, but God had already positioned his answer in the palace. Esther. Mordecai sends a desperate plea to Esther. Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? This is Esther's Carpe Diem moment. She could play it safe and hope for the best, or she could step into the calling God had ordained for her. Esther doesn't rush into the king's presence immediately. She strategizes and prepares spiritually. Esther fasts for 3 days and calls all Jews to fast with her. She doesn't act on impulse, but seeks divine guidance first. She approaches the king with wisdom. Instead of demanding justice immediately, she invites the king and Haman to a banquet. She builds suspense for this banquet. At the first banquet, she doesn't reveal Haman's plot. She invites them to a second banquet, ensuring that the king is fully engaged. In between these 2 banquets, God orchestrates a divine setup. The king can't sleep. He reads the records and realizes that Mordecai once saved his life but was never rewarded. Haman, thinking he is about to be honored, is instead forced to parade Mordecai through the city in royal robes. By the time Esther reveals Haman's plot at the second banquet, the king is primed for action. Haman's fate is sealed, and he is executed on the very gallows he built for Mordecai. Scripture has much to say about intentionality and living with purpose. Paul reminds us in Ephesians 5, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil." James 4:14 talks about how life is fleeting. You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Since tomorrow is uncertain, we are called to live with purpose today. Proverbs 27 tells us, "Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring." Instead of worrying about what's ahead, Jesus teaches us in Matthew 6, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." And then finally, in Ecclesiastes 9, we learn how we should live. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. Let's not waste the time we've been given. Every moment is an opportunity to align our lives with God's will and make an eternal impact. When you think about Esther's story, some 2,400 years after she risked her life to save the Jewish people, another tyrant is raised up and sought the extermination, along with the conquest of all of Europe. And why? To impose Nazi ideology. On June 4th, 1940, as World War II raged, the British Army had just escaped from Dunkirk, narrowly avoiding annihilation by Hitler's advancing forces. Britain stood alone, its future uncertain, with Nazi Germany pressing for a negotiated surrender. But instead of yielding to fear, Winston Churchill stood before the nation and delivered a speech that would become a defining moment of resilience and resolve. "We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and the oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills, and we shall never surrender." This speech wasn't just a defiance of defeat. It was a call to the British people to rise, to resist, and to fight for their freedom, no matter the cost. Churchill's words became a battle cry, rallying a nation to seize the day, to seize the moment, because their very survival depended on it. And so we come to the end of our journey today, reflecting on what Carpe Diem, seizing the day, truly means for each of us. Esther's story, a timeless echo from 2,400 years ago, reminds us of the power of one brave choice. With no guarantee of success, she stepped forward, not for her own safety, but for a divine purpose greater than herself. Through her boldness, her preparation, and her willingness to say, "If I perish, I perish," a decree of destruction was transformed into a legacy of victory, a triumph still celebrated every year at Purim, because Esther and Mordecai seized the day. Winston Churchill, too, understood this call to endurance and hope, often drawing strength from Isaiah 40:31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Like Esther, Winston Churchill seized his moment, proving that God bends toward those who act with courage and conviction. And then there's Robert Herrick, urging us in his poem, "To the virgins to make much of time. Gather ye rosebuds while you may, old time is still a-flyin'." His words are a hauntingly beautiful reminder that the sun climbs high, but sets swiftly, that our youth, our prime, our opportunities are fleeting. The question is not whether time will pass, but what we will do with it while it's ours. So what lessons linger from Esther's courage? First, that God's plans unfold with or without us. Second, that true success marries preparation with boldness, faith and action, tempered by wisdom. And third, that our position, our influence, our very lives are not just for us. It doesn't matter what job we have, whether it's great or little. Our position or station in life, whether it's great or little. God is saying to us, there is a purpose beyond ourselves in those roles. What, then, is your such a time as this moment? Where has God placed you right now? What bold step is whispering your name? Esther's story isn't locked in the past. It's a living call to action. Like her, we stand at crossroads where safety tempts us to stay silent, but destiny dares us to move. Will you seize the day when your moment arrives? For me, Carpe Diem is more than a rallying cry. It's a way of being. It's the students of Dead Poets Society chasing their dreams. Paul urging us in Ephesians to live with intention. Churchill and Esther shaping history with unwavering resolve. It's the wisdom of Psalm 90:12. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Life is brief, but it's brimming with possibility for you and me. Every day is a chance to step into our purpose, to wield the power of the present, and to shape the future with the choices we make now. I would be remiss if I didn't address the most important Carpe Diem moment. Let's discuss it in a parable. Picture this scene painted by Jesus himself in Matthew 25. A midnight hour, thick with stillness, pierced suddenly by a cry that shatters the dark. 10 virgins, lamps in hand, rise from their slumber to meet the bridegroom. 5 are wise, their jars brimming with oil. 5 are foolish, their lamps flickering, nearly spent. The bridegroom's delay had lulled them all to sleep, but now he's here, unexpected, glorious and swift. The wise ones trim their lamps, the golden glow steady and sure. The foolish ones fumble, their lights dimming, and they plead, "Give us some of your oil, Our lamps are going out. But the wise, with quiet resolve, reply, no, there's not enough for us and you. Go buy your own. And as the foolish rush into the night, desperate and scrambling, the bridegroom arrives. The ready ones slip into the wedding feast. The door swings shut, and the silence that follows is deafening. Later, the others return, banging on that barred door, crying, Lord, Lord, open it up for us. But his voice cuts through, final and unflinching. Truly, I tell you, I don't know you. And with that, Jesus leaves us this haunting charge. Keep watch, for you know neither the day nor the hour. This isn't just a story. It's a Carpe Diem warning etched into eternity. The wise virgins seized the day long before the cry rang out. Their oil wasn't luck. It was readiness. A life lived with purpose and faith, stored up against the dark. The foolish waited, assuming time was on their side, only to find the door closed when it mattered most. That oil, it's more than a symbol. It's the flame of a heart tethered to God through Jesus. It's faith that burns bright through prayer, devotion, and choices made in the quiet moments. You can't borrow it, can't beg it from someone else when the hour strikes. It's yours to cultivate day by day, drop by drop. And the wedding feast, that's heaven itself, a joy so vast, so eternal, that missing it is a loss too heavy to bear. Seizing the day isn't just about chasing dreams or carving out a legacy. Yes, that's all important, but it's more importantly about making eternity certain. The wise virgins didn't wait for the trumpet. They lived ready. They knew the bridegroom would come at any moment, and they wanted nothing more than to be known by him when he did. So I ask you now, as the echoes of this parable settle in, are you ready? Not just for tomorrow's plans, but for the moment Christ returns or calls you home. Seizing the day isn't only about making life extraordinary. It's about ensuring your soul is awake, your lamp is lit, your heart is His. The door will shut one day, and the cry will come. Will you be among the wise stepping into the feast, or will you be left knocking, wishing you'd gathered your oil while the sun still shone? So, my friends, I leave you with this. We are called to live intentionally, to seize the moment, to let our life ripple with extraordinary meaning with an eye on eternity. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Carpe Diem. Until next time, today is yours to claim. Seize it. God bless you. I hope you've enjoyed listening to today's podcast. Would you take a moment and provide a rating, subscribe, and consider sharing this message of encouragement with others? You can also visit us on scottnuckles.com to get more information. Until next time, blessings.